The next thing we've got to talk about are roadway hazards. Okay, there can be a lot of different things that happen, but the condition of the road itself can be a hazard. We see potholes on roads all the time. You might see the edge of the road deteriorated. All of these come from kind of the same basic process. Cracks in the pavement, so moisture gets into the pavement as it freezes or heats up. Those cracks begin to form. That's allow particles and more water to get in, especially in kind of cool settings where that water collects and then it freezes and it thaws. It's causing that pavement to kind of move. And so that can create these major cracks. It can create these potholes. And these sharp edges of these potholes or the edge of the road in some situations can severely damage our tires. Okay. And so it can, which you blow out a tire, you are going to lose control of your vehicle, very likely. And so how do you avoid that? Stay in your own lane. Okay. Avoid potholes as much as possible. Okay. I always take students to a section of road up actually around Burgaw, where it's an old paved road and the edges of it are really rugged. Okay. And it forces them to stay in the middle of their lane because as we drive, if they're driving on the white line, they're hitting grass, they're hitting potholes. And so it kind of forces us to stay kind of towards the middle of our lane. If you have to drive through a pothole, slow yourself down. Okay. Make sure that you've got good grip on your steering wheel. All right. Sharp curves are roadway hazards. A lot of times, most curves are going to be marked by warning signs. Okay, look for those warning signs. Okay, in a lot of cases, especially sharp curves, you're going to have the warning sign. You're going to have the small kind of chevron that points in the direction of the curve, warning you, hey, this is the curve. The closer those signs are together, the sharper the curve. You also will have sometimes a speed limit sign, okay, or a warning sign, and that's saying that, hey, here's a curve and it's going to have a speed limit posted below it. That means you should go 25 miles an hour through this curve. Okay. I always have kids who are like, oh, well, I don't have to go that slow, do I? Yes. Okay. That is what the state has determined is a safe speed for that curve. I think about right outside of Rocky Point, between Rocky Point and Burgaw, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the road right now. There's a sharp curve. It's almost a 90-degree curve. It has a warning sign that says 15 miles an hour. If you didn't slow down to that 15 miles an hour, you are ending up in somebody's front yard. And if you look carefully in that person's front yard, you can tell people end up there all the time. Okay, make sure you slow down. If you're going too fast as you enter a curve, okay, brake as soon as you realize the problem. Okay, as you're approaching a curve, you should always slow down before you get to the curve. But if you don't slow down enough, okay, once you're in the curve, you can brake some, but make sure that you do not lock your wheels because that's going to cause you to lose traction. So preferably you brake hard before you get in the curve. Once you start the curve, you proceed through, and kind of once you're in the apex of the curve, you begin accelerating again to help your vehicle make it through the curve. All right. If there's objects on the roadway, okay, whether that's leaves, an animal, a person, it can be a piece of wood. It can be something that appears to be not dangerous at all, cardboard. What you have to recognize is you are not necessarily seeing the whole danger. Okay, it might be a piece of wood, and there might be nails sticking out of it. And if you drive over that piece of wood with nails, you're going to puncture your tires. You're going to lead to a tire failure, to a blowout, and that's not safe for you. Okay, as you see object, try to avoid them. Check your traffic. If you can get in the other lane, get in the other lane. If you can't, steer around it. Get to the edge of your lane. Hopefully you can kind of make your way around it. And if that's not even a possibility, then try to straddle it. If you're straddling it, make sure your vehicle's tall enough, though, that whatever you're straddling can pass under your vehicle safely. Okay. Try not to swerve across into the other lane, especially if there's traffic there. And do not swerve across the center line as you might encounter oncoming traffic. Okay. Another potential roadway hazard is deep water. We've already talked a little bit about water and driving through water situations, but let's say that you end up with your vehicle in deep water. You're beginning to sink. Your car is getting submerged. There's a couple of things you need to do. The first thing that you need to do is you need to roll your window down. Okay, rolling your windows down, you might be like, oh, well, that's going to let me sink quicker. Yes, it will. But as your vehicle begins to sink, you run the very big risk that your electrical systems are going to short out. Okay, and so if your battery shorts, you're not going to be able to roll your automatic windows down. Okay, so go on and get those windows down, get your seatbelt off, okay, and then get your passengers out of the vehicle as quickly as you can. Okay, if you can't do that, okay, then you can try to open your doors up. As your vehicle sinks, if you keep your windows shut, the pressure is going to begin to build around your car. It's going to become very hard to open your doors. The sooner you can try, the better. Once you begin to open your car, you might feel the water begin to kind of rush in. It's going to be hard. Eventually, it'll get a little bit easier. Okay, if you don't get your doors open, your windows aren't open, as you sink, a pocket of air will form inside of the car. Try to take a gasp of air before break your window. There's actually tools you can keep that will help to shatter your windows. Take a breath or two of that air before exiting so that you can surface. It says in the textbook, it says turn your headlights on. The problem with that is what we talked about with the windows. If your electrical system shorts out, your headlights probably are not going to stay on.